Today we're driving the 2025 BMW Z4 M40i with the 6-speed manual transmission. 2025 brings back a manual to the BMW Z4, much like we've seen with the Toyota Supra, and as many of you know, this shares a lot with the Toyota Supra. The chassis, the powertrain, a lot of this is Toyota Supra. We did film a Z4 last year with the 8-speed ZF Auto, and I really enjoyed that car. Maybe it was the fact that you could just put the top down, enjoy that exhaust note from the B58 3-liter turbocharged inline 6, or maybe it was a little bit softer than the Supra, not as cramped and less wind buffeting. There are a lot of things to like about the Z4. Let's talk about the way this 6-speed manual drives, and I'll give you guys some thoughts on what this has been like to live with this week. Let's start it up and walk you guys around it. So, some numbers. 3-liter turbocharged inline 6, 382 horsepower, 369 pound-feet of torque, a 6-speed manual transmission with an M Sport differential in the back that's electronically controlled. We have 19-inch wheels in the front and 20-inch wheels in the back, a staggered setup with Michelin Pilot Super Sport tires. Haven't seen these tires on a lot of cars, but yes, they are still making them. 285/30 R20s in the rear, and I believe 255s in the front. Yeah, 255/35 R19s in the front. Red brake calipers. This Z4 is painted in frozen deep green metallic, which costs $2,950. The interior is cognac with Vernasca leather. It looks really nice, great combination. Base price on this is about $67,000. As tested, 77 grand. So not cheap, but if I'm being honest, this is probably my favorite BMW on sale today. It just drives so well. It's super fun. It looks good. We don't have a silly grille up front. The proportions seem right. And with a staggered wheel setup, I think it looks quite aggressive. And also, I'll kind of spill the beans, it drives really well. I think this still drives better than the Supra. There's a little bit less rev hang here. The tune seems a bit more natural and fluid with the B58 and the 6-speed manual transmission. It's a really good driving experience. The Z4 manual also comes with something called the Handschalter package. And basically, it includes some aesthetic stuff like the shadow black, the staggered wheels, the red brake calipers, but also some suspension tuning and steering changes. We have stiffer front sway bar mounts, a retuned steering rack for better feel, and just some tweaks to the suspension for better stability in spirited driving. We're actually going to be taking this to the track later this week, and we'll give you guys an idea of how this does around Gingerman Raceway, which should be a lot of fun. Decent amount of trunk space here. You even get a ski pass-through. Look at that. Snowboarders are out of luck, but if you ski, you can take your BMW Z4 out to the slopes. All right, I've turned off the car because I want to show you guys one of my favorite features. You can raise and lower the cloth top with the key fob. Lock it, and then press it again and hold, and the roof will go up. Still holding, still going up. That's great. With the top up, pretty spacious inside. We'll do some driving today with it up and with it down. And if you want to lower it, all you have to do is hold the unlock button near the car and everything will come down. Easy. Pretty quick operation. You can also raise and lower the top at speeds of up to around 30 miles an hour or so. This is rated for 19 miles to the gallon in the city, 26 on the highway. All right, let's hop inside. We'll start this up again. We'll pop the hood and take a look at the B58. 3-liter twin power turbocharged inline 6. Silky smooth power delivery. Sounds fantastic. Bit of a burble tune on this. Off throttle, on downshift, so you'll get some pops and burbles from this engine. Sounds great, and being able to enjoy it again with the top down, I think is probably the best thing about the Z4. A little bit more characterful than the base Porsche Boxster with the turbocharged 4-cylinder Boxer engine that we drove a few weeks ago. It's a great engine. Again, one of BMW's best. In some ways, I kind of prefer the way this drives and the way the engine sounds and feels to the S58, for example, in the M2. Maybe that's just me, but This is a really nice balance of comfort and performance. This is a car that you could easily daily drive. It's easy to live with, use, and operate. Let's hop inside. We'll show you around the interior a little bit. We have a similar older generation style BMW interior here in the Z4, like we do with the Supra. I think that this is the best BMW interior that we've seen in modern times. We still have physical controls for our climate. We have buttons down here for our track selection, volume knob, buttons for our drive modes. You still get the classic iDrive controller. Everything here is easy to use, simple, straightforward, and we get a slightly nicer integration of this screen here, which is a touch screen, in the dash versus the Toyota Supra. CarPlay is wireless. It's worked seamlessly this week. No issues with that. Otherwise, everything else here is nice and responsive. You get a climate menu that you can adjust some settings with. But for the most part, you don't need to go into this infotainment for a whole lot because you have physical buttons and controls for everything. Nice digital display here, centrally located. We've got a few different drive modes: Sport, Sport Plus, and an individual, which you can configure. You can change damping between Sport and Comfort, steering between Sport and Comfort, engine between Comfort, Sport, and Sport Plus. There's also the gear shift assistant, which is basically just auto rev matching. I have that turned on. We'll probably just start off in Sport Individual. I've actually been driving this around with the suspension in Sport mode a little bit this week, just because I think Comfort is a little bit too soft for some of our bumpier roads. It gets a little bit more body motion than I would like, and Sport feels a little bit more buttoned down. The suspension tuning on this feels great. It feels really well sorted, and no cowl shake. The car feels rigid. It's a really nice balance between comfort and performance. Otherwise, we get heated seats, a heated steering wheel right here, cruise control. You can turn on and off all of your intelligent safety settings here. I have the individual setting configured to have lane departure warning off and blind spot detection on medium. That'll save and kind of fire up as soon as you start the vehicle. Auto stop start does engage every time you start the vehicle, but if you go into your Sport or Sport individual modes, that'll turn off automatically. The 6-speed manual has classic BMW shift feel. It is both rubbery and precise. It feels about the same as any BMW shifter from the last 30 years. Pretty similar to the Toyota Supra. Of course, there's some different bushings and stuff in here, but for the most part, it's all about the same. You do have to be a little bit careful putting it into first so you don't accidentally push it all the way to the left and go into reverse. In reverse, we have a nice reverse camera, turning lines, nice and high res, good visibility around the car too, especially with the top down. All right, let's go for a drive and see what this thing can do on the road. Spicy pops there. You can tone those down in Sport or Comfort mode. Alright, let's go into Sport Plus. Let's see how this handles. Steering is good. It weights up nicely. A little bit softer than the Supra. Great body control though at speed. And very little wind buffeting here. I love the C4 as a top-down experience. I've pretty much exclusively driven this car this week with the top down just because we've had perfect weather here in late October in Southeast Michigan. It has been an absolute joy. This video will be the first time I put the top up, so we'll experience that on the way back. Rev Match Assistant doing a great job there. let's talk about this manual. I think this is my favorite manual driving experience from BMW. It's just super clean, super precise. There is still a little bit of rev hang here, but it doesn't seem to be as bad as it is in the Supra. I feel like I can get between gears with less clutch drag, and it's a more intuitive and fluid manual driving experience. For a turbocharged motor, the response here is just awesome. It's smooth, there's torque everywhere. Even in 5th gear, 2,500 RPM, this pulls. On a bumpier section of road right now, ride quality is excellent. These Michelin Pilot Super Sports aren't super loud like the 4S is. I do miss the Super Sport tire because I feel like in some ways it is better than the 4S in terms of noise and NVH. In Sport Plus right now, this is a perfectly dailyable drive mode. I don't feel like I'm overwhelmed with too many drive mode choices in this Z4, like I can be sometimes in an M car. Every drive mode here is great. I can just enjoy the car in the way that it's set up and not have to think about my settings all the time. That's fun. It's so great that BMW is listening to their buyers and bringing back manual transmissions in some of their cars. You can have some fun with it too. That M Sport differential does a great job putting power down. Ah, I am loving this. It's a subtle difference, but it seems like such a more fluid manual driving experience than the Supra. I feel like I'm not waiting for the revs to drop so that I can change gears and let the clutch out. It's neutral, even on these staggered wheels. This is one of those cars that we get a loan on, and I don't really feel like giving the keys back to BMW. All right, let's throw a couple corners at this. Gosh, guys, I've got to say, on the street, this is one of my favorite modern sports car driving experiences. It is just so nice. The tech, the user interface, everything here is just about right for BMW. This is kind of BMW's best interior, I think, in terms of generational tech. I drive 7, not the new nonsense from 8 and 8.5. It's a comfortable car, but it's fun and engaging too. There's good steering for a BMW and a good manual transmission. It may not be as quick and as high performance, but I think this is more fun to drive than the M2. I'm a little bit smitten. 80 miles an hour. I am incredibly comfortable in this with the top down. We should probably put the top up though, just for review purposes, just as a more complete, cohesive video. I don't really want to though. This is fantastic. Gear, 70 miles an hour, 2,500 RPM, rolling into it, a little bit of turbo lag, but then we're off. Nice. Gearing feels just about perfect for this turbocharged application. Third gear. It's quick. I could probably do without some of the burbles and pops, but that's okay. Grip here is just awesome. Brakes don't have the best bite. We'll see how they do on the racetrack though. The hardware should be more than up to the task. Go into comfort mode. That'll tone things down significantly. Exhaust quiets. Throttle's a little bit less responsive. There is even an Eco Pro mode. I barely have any acceleration, pushing halfway through the pedal. I feel like I've bonded with this BMW more than I have just about any BMW I've driven recently, and that includes some classics like an E36. It's just such a good overall driving experience. At first, I thought it's so good, after some time it might dull on me and become a little bit boring. But it just doesn't. The harder you drive it, the better it gets. And then living with it on a daily basis, it's a fantastic daily. All right, so no shortage of good things to say about the Z4 M40i. I don't see any of them. I hope people go buy these cars because it is, I think, one of the, if not the best BMW on sale for the enthusiast, for the purist, for the driver. I love a convertible. I love a top-down driving experience. And this really kind of delivers on all the elements that I value in a driver's car. Okay, it's a little bit expensive at close to $70,000, but you're getting a nice car for the money. We'll pull off here. Yeah, looks like at about 30 miles an hour, you can start to raise or lower the roof. Quick operation there. It's done in no time. The 1-2 shift is also still a little bit tricky to get right. It does require some precision to drive it smoothly and cleanly, but that's part of the fun. Let's go into Sport Individual. I don't mind the steering in sport mode either. It's not too stiff. There's not too much resistance here. It's just a good heft. Now that we've got some temperature into the brakes, bite is improving. Feels a little bit better than it did at the beginning of this drive. Out of this. Yeah, it's all about your clutch work. That felt pretty good. It's nice to have companies coming out with manual transmissions that are still good manual transmissions to drive. It's not just kind of a half-assed effort. Very quiet at speed here. Virtually no wind noise. A few creaks in the back. Love this chassis too. It has that playful short wheelbase character that the 1 Series M Coupe had back in the day, and the M2 has. It feels a little bit less twitchy and more stable than the Supra. That's probably due to the extra compliance here. But it's a really fun car to drive and push around a corner. Turn in is extra sharp, probably thanks to those slightly stiffer sway bar bushings in the front. Let's pull off, walk you guys around this one more time, and then let's do a sound system test. We have a Harman Kardon. See what that sounds like. Seats feel good too. Really nice bolstering. They're comfortable for the street. A little bit hard like all BMWs, but after some extended drives in this week, I've been very comfortable. We'll see how they do on the track later this week. Good car. Modern BMW with charm and great dynamics. I don't know what else you could ask for. The same charm and same dynamics in a lot of their other cars? I think so. More manuals? I think so. Normally, with the roof down, I have to wear these to cover my binaural microphones that sit in my ears. Wind buffeting in this, I think, is good enough in here that I don't really need to. Hopefully, you guys were able to hear me today during the highway sections with the top down, but I felt like there wasn't a lot of wind coming in to the mics. It's always the mark of a good convertible. Let's get on the highway, see what this sounds like at speed with the roof up. take this or the 8-speed auto. I think this is definitely the driver's choice. The 6-speed manual here is fun. It's a great gearbox. It's a little bit better when it's hustled. A little bit tricky to drive smoothly when you're just kind of cruising around casually. Depends how you're going to be driving your car. The 8-speed auto it's not the fastest gearbox in the world, but it's just about flawless in every other way. I do think the 6-speed manual is more entertaining though, and it's definitely the driver's choice here. Believe how quiet these Pilot Super Sports are compared to the 4S. It's such a difference. This is a tire that I'd actually want to drive on and live with. Man, this is great. Comfort mode. Close that exhaust valve. Set cruise control. Traction and stability control automatically turned back on. That's nice. Alright guys, we'll end this video with the sound system test, and that will be a wrap. Got a volume knob down here, volume controls right here. Honestly, not the best Harman Kardon from BMW. A little bit echoey at higher volumes. Might be able to tune it to sound a little bit better. Everything's pretty much evened out there. It's not bad, it's just not great. Fast drivers on M14 today. Sequoia's doing about a little over 100 probably. What do we have here? Ooh, we've got an ND Miata 30th anniversary. Very nice. Alright guys, well, that's a wrap for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this drive in the new Z4 M40i with a 6-speed manual. I sure did. I'm going to go spend some more time in this car and then begrudgingly hand the keys back to substitute TheTopher. And then we'll spend some time in this on the track at Gingerman Raceway. Excited to see how it performs, see how it does. This weekend we're taking the Civic Type R, the WRX TS, this, and the S2000. And maybe my buddy Z06 to the racetrack. Should be a fun time. All right, we'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Thanks for watching.